Hello and good afternoon. For those who don't know me, I'm Cindy Rogers, this year's show president, aka the president of the organization who organizes these events. And let me be the first to welcome you to the first Prof Talk of the 2023-2024 school year. We are thrilled that you are as excited about the Prof Talks as we are. If not, we are still appreciative of your support and attendance, even if you only came for the free food. To be completely honest, writing this introduction was a little bit difficult for the sole reason I didn't know where to start. Robert Brewer has done so much for the GC community. Not only is he served as the school's chaplain and head of religious life on campus, but he's also just constantly at student activity events. And he also runs the Urban Garden behind Reynolds. And every year they donate their crops to the Spartan Food Pantry, which is a pantry for local college students at UNC, Greensboro College, and I believe A&T as well. And more recently, he started supervising the GC Hunger Challenge, which, not to spoil anything for this wonderful presentation, but is a competition between North Carolina colleges and universities to bring awareness to on-campus food insecurity. With that being said, it is my honor and pleasure to present the man, the myth, the legend, the person who does not even need an introduction, Reverend Dr. Brewer.
Yeah, I'm here.
That was awesome. Thank you. Thanks for coming to talk today about not an always easy subject to talk about, but one that we are proud of our work and accomplishments this semester particularly, but our trying to tackle a problem that is widespread across lots of colleges and universities in the US and the world. According to the Hope Center, up to 30% of undergrads and 40% of those who are at two-year community college go food insecure at one point in their life as a student. Up to 14% experience homelessness, and up to 12% of graduate students experience hunger and food insecurity. So we had the sense that students on campus were food insecure at Greensboro College, but we had a little difficult time trying to figure out those numbers. Like, is it true? We had a lot of anecdotal evidence that students were in need or having a hard time finding food. So food insecurity is actually a particular category of food subsistence and insubsistence. Food insecurity means you have a condition of not having access to sufficient food or food of adequate quality to meet one's basic needs. Food insecurity means that you might go a day without food, but it also might mean you go without a meal, or you don't know exactly where your next meal will come from, or where you're going to get your next basic food from. So food insecurity is a broad term, not just people who don't have food or access to it, but could be people who are just struggling to find it. They might find food in places here and there, but they might struggle as well. So food insecurity is what we're trying to tackle on our campus. And so we have a team of people who are doing that. And I also want to introduce you to that team, and some of them are going to talk in just a minute. I'll introduce Tyler Smith, who's our community service coordinator and runs our pantry, thankfully. Thanks to the support of the Student Success and Engagement office, who helps fund his position to be here to help run that pantry for student success. He's usually here on Thursday, Fridays throughout the semester, sometimes more. We can't get rid of him. Who said that? Also, I'd like to introduce Zypher Pino, who's right here, and Luke Butner, who's right beside of him. They are our Hunger Challenge ambassadors. And they're going to talk to you in a minute about the Hunger Challenge and what we are doing. Right. So Luke is going to come assist me because he knows what the PowerPoint looks like. All right, so we have some food insecurity questions for you. So part of this is interactive. So question number 1, can you tell someone is food insecure just by looking at them? No, oh, y'all are great. Many food insecure students look like they have it all together. Often they try to hold it all together. So they don't want to appear like they are food insecure. So students do not have to look like any particular way because they are food insecure. Which leads to the next question. Can overweight students be food insecure? Yes, because oftentimes food that is cheaper or of less healthy qualities are the most affordable too. And so it doesn't matter what you look like or your weight or anything like that. You can be food insecure. Someone may not have access to affordable foods or healthy foods. And some of the foods that are the most accessible aren't the healthiest options, right? So, can students who have a steady income be food insecure? Yeah, students may have a job, but still not be able to afford food or have time to make food. Studies show that 25% of those who are working 20 to 39 hours a week still have food insecurity. Students who are working a part-time job, students who are working a full-time job, 21% of those who surveyed said they still had food insecurity. Students who are 21% have full financial aid. 21% of the students who have full financial aid still experience food insecurity. You can have a job, you can have all the resources you need, but particularly because you don't always have the opportunity to make food, nor maybe your job interferes with getting food or having the caf open at times where you're working and you can't actually go to get food, you can still have not able to do that. So leads to the next question. Can students who have access to a room and reliable meal plan become food insecure? Yes, they can. Sorry. Students who have access to housing may not have access to their food because of work, job, commitments, sports, any of those things may get in the way. And they may not be able to get to the caf or dining hall when it's open, particularly because we have limited hours on our campus, and many places have limited hours just because of the way it is. And so it can be a problem for students who still have a meal plan and for those who have a residence hall on campus. Is the food given out freely? Won't certain students abuse the system to get a free meal? Although it does happen, sometimes people will come and take things out of the pantry once the people getting the food need it. Also, don't we all need it? Like, don't we all deserve to eat food? Right? Students who really need food get what they need from that. And who are we to deny someone food or drink, right? Who doesn't deserve food? Who doesn't deserve it? This is a concept that we often hear about a lot, that people shouldn't deserve food because they spend it on other things or they have other stuff, or because they aren't spending it correctly, right? That's not true. People can have other things in their lives, particularly. One of the things people often say, particularly people who live on the streets, this has nothing to do with food insecurity, but those who live on the street, they'll spend money on alcohol and drugs or things like that. But most people do that because they're living on the street, right? If they had access to food and a home, they would not necessarily need to do that. I mean, if I was living on the street, I might need that too. So what do? Over the past several years, we've relied upon the food pantry at UNCG, Spartan Open Pantry, to help support our students. We've collected food for that pantry. It was at one point located at College Place United Methodist Church, but now it is at the UNCG campus on campus itself. They just wanted to move closer to campus and they found a space that they could use. And so that is there. Our students can still go there. It's just a little bit further away for our students. It's at the Associated Campus Ministry building across from the library at UNCG. They are still open to Wednesday and Thursday evenings, and they also still have free meals at those times. They're also open on Wednesday mornings. So for students who are our students, all they have to do is take their ID, they fill out a form the first time, and then after that, they don't have to fill out a form again. They just come and do that. So our students have been able to access that pantry for a while. For hot meals, and that pantry also has things like cold items, eggs, milk, and they have frozen foods as well, which we don't here yet or can't support that. So our students can go there. In 2021, I received an email from the General Board of Global Ministries of the United Methodist Church. Ta-da. And they emailed me asking, who should we talk to about offering this grant? And I said, oh, me. So they're offering grants to small United Methodist colleges to combat food insecurity. That was their grant. And I said, oh, this is a great opportunity. So we applied for $9,900. We could apply up to $10,000. Should have gone for $100 more, but we didn't. We had a budget. We figured it out. So we received that grant in the spring of 2022, and we're able to purchase cabinets that are that we used for that grant specifically. We had that grant to buy those cabinets specifically, one of three. We are modeling it after UNCG's campus ministries food pantry, because they have that food pantry, but they also have to-go pantries across the campus in several locations. And they are less organized than our to-go pantry, but this is where the concept came from. And they were really nicely wrapped. They were beautiful. We went over, toured, we figured out what they looked like. Their cabinets are very different than ours. They're a little bit, they're odd, but we were like, we don't want that kind of cabinet. We did research to find what we wanted. We ordered these cabinets online from Uline. They delivered them, and then we had them wrapped by a local company with the look of the Pride Pantry on it. We just said, here's what we want, and they gave us this. And so we purchased that. We wrapped them, and we're able to buy other food and supplies because of the grant. There are right now over 800 pantries on college campuses across the US. Right now, surveys have taken recently. There are over 800 on all the campuses. In Greensboro, there's a food pantry on campus, because of food insecurity on campuses is greater than you can imagine. And it's not like if you are a staff or faculty member when you were in college. It's not the same. But we'll talk about that in a minute. So we purchased particular items for the food pantry. Particular items, we had a particular list at first. And Tyler had that list, and we would use that to buy the things we wanted. Things like peanut butter, things that were like canned goods, things that were like tuna and chicken that were in packets that were easy to open, ready to go meals, macaroni and cheese, things like that, easy things. And then we purchase snacks as well, things like granola bars and fruit snacks, which go real quickly, and toiletry items. So in the pantry there are deodorant and toothpaste and soap and all of those things. And there's also feminine hygiene products in them too. So students can open it, take whatever they need, and leave. Our hope is that they will fill out a form that's on a QR code on that pantry, so we can have numbers. Tyler's like, I need numbers. We need numbers. So if a student is using the pantry, remind them to fill out that form, not because we need to know who they are, it's anonymous, but so that we can turn in our forms and information about who we serve. This is going to be really important, particularly coming in the next year, because we're trying to enter into partnership with Second Harvest Food Bank, and they want numbers, which is a little hard to do when your pantries are wide open and out in the open. Right? It's easier when people are just coming in. So we need numbers. Right? So Tyler will tell you that over and over again. We need numbers so that we can measure and give them information. Right. So this year we also are one of the colleges, thanks to our student success programs, part of the membership back to North County Campus Engagement, which is a conglomeration of universities and colleges across the state trying to work on civic engagement issues and helping students to do service in the community. So this past spring, they were offering grants from Food Lion to use for our pantries. So we applied for the $1,000 grant. We received it in May. We had to spend it by August. We're like, oh, how do we do this? Spend $1,000. So we purchased a lot of signage, and we purchased those collection boxes. We purchased some bags for people to take if they're going to the pantry. They can take a bag, so it's not carrying food around if they don't want to carry the food out in the open. And we bought the QR code things that we want them to scan, and cards that they can take with them so that when they don't have to stand at the pantry to fill out the form. So you take the business card to your room or wherever you go, and then you scan it there, say, what did I take? And we also ask on that form, what would you like? And so one of the things they wanted last year was applesauce. Like it was high number applesauce. So now we are collecting applesauce as well to put in there. So we want that feedback from them. And so we used that $1,000 grant to also buy food and supplies. And we also bought it to buy storage for the food that in the Village 401 office so that we can store all the food there and then distribute it throughout the week. So that's how we spent that $1,000. So now we have these pantries in three locations on campus. I think that's. Oh, there's the Hungry Challenge. So then we have pantries on campus in 3 locations: outside of Greensboro Hall, outside of the GCC, in the little kitchenette area, and at West. Oh my goodness. We put it in Reynolds because we knew athletes needed access to the pantry. What we found through the survey that we had on the QR code, they weren't using it. Also, we would go to the pantry and it's still full. So they weren't using it. Mostly, I think, because they work out, they go there and leave, and then they say, oh, I really want some food, I'm hungry now. And going back to Reynolds wasn't, convenient or an option. It was also in the back of the weight room. It was so hard to get to and figure out where it was. We thought it'd be cute and out of the way, but it just wasn't working. It wasn't working at all. So we decided, because of the survey, because of the information we had, we needed to move it to West. So we went and got a truck with lots of volunteers that didn't know they were volunteering to help us to move it to West. So now it's in the West lobby, in the little break room and study room. And I think Tyler can attest it's being used significantly. Last week it was almost empty. Yeah. So we now know that it's being used a lot more and by more men, and but we need them to fill out a survey. They are not. So remind students to do that if you can. So all right, here's some information for you that we have from last year. Students who've used the survey are mostly seniors, and they're mostly first-year students. So you can see the survey's responses. They were only 31 from last spring, which is a good number to get a number sample from. But I'm not sure why sophomores weren't using it very much, right? So who knows? But we do know that statistically across the US, seniors are the most ones using the food pantry because they're the most ones living off campus probably. And may not have access to the cafeteria or regular food available on campus, may not have a meal plan. So they're a little bit more food insecure than others. So it kind of messes with national averages. The other information is that mostly students were using, female students were using pantry. So the problem was we figured out, well, this is probably not accurate for our students. So this is why we moved it to West, because it was 60% of the females were using it because it's right outside of Greensboro. That Greensboro one is one used most often, is the one we fill up more often. So so we moved it to West, and we've had an uptick of men using pantry, even though our numbers don't show it. The pantry being empty does. And we also have African-American students, and white students are mostly people using pantry too. So if you want to know who's using the pantry, is particularly African-American students and who are using it more, which is kind of consistent with national averages as well. Yeah, so overall, it's the senior African-American female students who are using it the most. Senior African-American females. Although we have suspicion that men are also needing it, but not reporting it. And now with it in West, we might have some more data. So what do you say to a student who's experiencing food insecurity? Oh, that's too bad. No, you say, You actually, if a student comes to you and says, I'm experiencing food insecurity in some form or another, say, I'm not sure where I'll get my next meal, they might say, or they might say, oh, I missed food, or I'm hungry. Like all those like hints might drop out in a conversation for you. So the first thing is to show empathy and not judgment. Who knows what their situation is and what they, what they're doing. You should show some empathy for those who are struggling. It's hard to be a college student, right? And also, don't discredit their story with your own story, particularly if you're a staff or faculty member. I know your college days were hard. Yes, and you can go, oh yes, I was a broke college student. But being a broke college student in your day and a broke college student now is not the same. Being a broke college student now is really broke college students. And having the ability to find and make ends meet, it's a lot more difficult these days. I know we've all had a story of our own trying to make it, particularly if you went to college or grad school. There are days when I wondered how I made it through grad school on a very small budget, right? I had no idea how I made through that, but it's not the same as today. And so don't say, oh yeah, well, my story was like this, right? Their story is valid and you should recognize it. So don't discredit their experience and by saying, oh, that's just the way it is for college students, because it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way for any of us. And that's what we're trying to respond to. And so also ask them if they're aware of the resources on campus and off campus. There are government programs students can apply for. College students can apply for the SNAP program and get funding through that program. It's difficult to do as a college student though. It's just a lot more difficult process, but it is possible. And know that food insecurity impacts everything. If a student is hungry, they do not have good study habits. They might not be able to go to class. They might sleep more. They might just not have good physical health, right? It is an overall problem. If you can't have something to eat, you can't learn, right? We knew that. We know that from needing free foods in high school and elementary schools, right? Because students who are hungry aren't going to learn. So it impacts everything. So in conclusion, there it is. Food insecurity is very common. It affects almost all of our students. And on Greensboro College campus, even students who do not appear food insecure are food insecure. And those who are food insecure are just food insecure at this moment in their life. Doesn't mean they failed morally, doesn't mean they failed spiritually. It just means they don't have the access to food at the moment. And I think we should all deserve to have food to eat and have something in our stomachs to survive. Right? It's common human decency. So know that they are a moral failure and hopefully help them realize that too. Because at the moment they may just need food. Right? And at one point we will. There are students from diverse groups who are using the pantries in these locations. And lastly, trying to remember what it was. Oh yeah, be courteous. It's a stressful time, right? So help students navigate this moment in their lives that can be really rough and they can feel ashamed of, which I'd hope we remove the stigma of hunger, shame in our culture. It's hard to do, but I think that's something we certainly should do. So yes, I'm going to let Zypher and Luke talk about our hunger challenge and tell you some more information about what we're doing and how you can help us in this program. This is another program from the North Carolina Campus Compact that we got from the $1,000 last semester. This is a challenge now, and they're going to tell you all about it because we've applied for it, and it's also sponsored by Food Line too. So, Zypher and Luke.
So,
Wait,
back,
sorry.
backwards.
I don't know.
These
Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I was the animation flipper. Anyways. So as Dr. Brewer was saying, you know, we got a lot of students here at GC who, you know, are food insecure. This is a big thing that impacts all of us. It impacts us even here on the Greensboro College campus. But there is a way you specifically, and I mean you, like all of y'all, can help us tackle this problem. So we're gonna take this black and white just nothingness and turn it into something cool.
Yeah, they're really nice.
We're introducing the Collegiate Hunger Challenge. I would have put in cool music, I just didn't know how to. So what is the Collegiate Hunger Challenge? I've been talking about it. I've been talking about how y'all can get involved. Y'all are excited. So what is it? All right, so it's a partnership with NC Campus Engagement. As Dr. Brewer mentioned, it's that association of colleges, and they're hosting it for us. And it's a competition between 14 different colleges and universities in North Carolina, where we must earn, oh goodness, we must earn points in order to win a prize. As Dr. Brewer mentioned, it could be up to $10,000 grant. So y'all get that, but like, what is it? You know, I said it was a competition, but like competition about what? How many frogs you can catch? Oh, all right, do it again. Okay, so this is specifically a competition about raising awareness of food insecurity throughout events just like this one. This Prof Talk, me and Zypher hosted a multitude of events. Our kickoff event was in the cafeteria where we had 4 different stations around. Y'all may have visited it. 4 different stations. You came and you searched for answers. We had another event that was like a little trivia thing. We had like a little board set up, and Dr. Brewer hosted it. He was there. You came to the board, you scanned the QR code, you went through it, and you got a prize whenever you answered everything. So events like these is what we're doing. It's a large push toward hunger relief efforts in college campuses. So as I mentioned before, there's 14 different colleges and campuses involved in this. So it's a large hunger push, not just with us, but collectively with all of us. But we're having a little fun with it. We're turning it into a competition. So, you know, you gotta get creative with it. And hey, if we win first place overall, we can win $10,000 for our food pantry. Now, some of y'all may know that we're kind of a small campus, you know, we're a small little private school, small little private 4-year school. So we ain't got that many people as compared to some of the bigger schools. And NC Campus Engagement came up with a little solution to that. And that was, there are 3 divisions. We're in the small campus division. There's another division that's a little bit bigger. It's like medium campus. And then there's like the huge, big campus division. And in each division, if you win first prize in that division, you get $5,000. But if we win overall in the big campuses, which I know we can win $10,000, which I don't know if y'all know that, but it's a little bit bigger than 5,000. So come support us, please. So y'all are excited. I was talking about this competition, but y'all want to know specifically how you can get involved, and I'm gonna let Zypher talk to you about that.
Okay, so Luke did a great job of explaining what exactly the Hunger Challenge is, but now I'm here to talk about how exactly you can help us win the $10,000, as Luke mentioned. Number one thing is following at GC Pride Pantry on our Instagram account. There's a QR code on your tables, so you should be able to scan it and it'll lead you to our Instagram account. And we've been posting, I'm sure you guys have seen all the posts that all these Greensboro College accounts have been making, because it's not just GC Pride Pantry, because as the third number says, if your account is public on Instagram, you can repost posts made by GC Pride Pantry. So within the challenge, each post that we make that has certain hashtags such as the GC Pride Pantry and other ones, they will give you 1 point for the challenge. So one social media post about the NC Hunger Challenge, about what we're doing on campus, will give you 1 point towards the challenge. And there's also criteria that whoever can make the most social media posts will get bonus points. And I can confidently tell you that we are way ahead of every other college in the social media campaign. So that's something to celebrate. That's something that I know we're gonna win, if anything. Another thing that you could do to help support us is donate to our food drives. A lot of y'all have already supported us in that, especially last week's event that we hosted. We asked for just goods on top of, like, you do the trivia, and if you donate goods to us for the Pride Pantry, you get like a bonus reward. So we've been really appreciative for you guys of helping us out with our donations. And you can also volunteer for the garden that Pride Pantry is also manning. You can volunteer for all of our events that we plan. Like, you can just be there to set it up or help think of other events to do. I forgot their names, but there's already some students that have been helping us out with some events. It's gonna be a small like dance event at the end of the year. And that other students are helping us out with that. So if you know anyone that can help out with this, whether that's volunteering with just whenever we have events, or literally creatively thinking of new events that we can host, let us know. Or if you don't want to do any of that, just literally by attending all of our events and being there, participating with us, that's the least that you can do. Because the more engagement that we get from it, the more fun it will be, the more interesting that will be. And just let everyone know about what we're doing about hunger insecurity on campus, because that's the whole point of this challenge. Yes, it's about the $10,000. It's about, hosting all these events, but at the end of the day, it's just about raising food insecurity awareness on campus. And if you want more details, if you want more ways that you can help, you can just always let me, Luke Butner, or Dr. Brewer know about what you can do, or if you have any ideas, just let us know. That brings us to the end of our presentation. We wanted the opportunity, if you want to have questions or you needed to know something more. I mean, maybe Tyler can also answer some of our questions, because Tyler is on the ground filling up the food pantry every week, so he knows what they're using and what's being used. We used to have this regular list of things that we would want, and we were like, this is the list. This is what we want, because students need to go to the bigger food pantry to get other items. So these are main staples. Well, now we've been getting all these donations, and now we're like, well, forget the list. But we do have a list of things we want specifically, but we'll take most anything and put most anything in the pantry, and most of those things go quickly. The things that don't go are canned vegetables, canned corn, canned pinto bean. None of that goes.
So you're saying we can't just go to the back of our closet?
No. So if you're not eating it, don't take it. Here. What does go are things like soup, canned soup, or what's really helpful is microwavable mac and cheese. The Kraft macaroni mac and cheese we get a lot of, and that's wonderful. But it takes like margarine and milk to make, which may not be accessible. So when you're buying something that's like instant, look at what is needed. If it needs water, awesome. If it needs one other item, awesome. But if it needs a couple of things, it won't be as helpful because students won't have access to making it, right? So those things are instant and quick, are easy to give to us. We don't always take fresh produce because they go bad quickly, so that's hard to do. But there is fresh produce and things at the bigger pantry at UNCG, so students can go there. Yeah, so are there questions? Yes.
I kind of regularly have students come and tell me that they're food insecure, and I've told them about the Pride Pantry, and I've told them about the pantry at UNCG. But I think they don't feel comfortable to go there. or can't get to UNCG. What else, is there something else? Should I keep a bag of food in my office? What else can I do that might be more immediately helpful for them?
Yeah, I would suggest, we put, the Greensboro Food Pantry is very open, right? It's right in front of the Greensboro Hall as you go down to the caf. Everybody can see it. It's the one used the most, but everybody can see it. But the one in GCC is in a private area, like it's in the little kitchenette. And we put it there so it'll be private. And so when you walk in, nobody can see you. If nobody's there, nobody will know you go. So that's a place to go. The one in West is in the study hall, so it's out of the lobby. You can't see it always. So people can go in there and easily to not be seen, right? So people don't want to know your business. The other thing you can do is say to the student, what are some things you would like? And then you go to the pantry and get it and bring it back to your office. And I'll have it in my office. So feel free. There are bags in the pantry, so you can fill up the bag and then hand them the bag to give it to,
Thank you.
Are there any items that you're constantly lacking that we as staff would be providing to help?
Yeah, Tyler, do you want to answer that?
I guess a lot of our like popular items are like snacky things, so like granola bars, like Dr. Brewer mentioned. Applesauce goes really fast. Recently, cereal has been pretty popular, like full box cereal has been going. So if you think of anything like that, like students can grab on their way, like walk into class, or if they just stop out pantry and need something quick, they don't want a soup or something larger to make, like little snack items are like our most used and what we usually have to end up buying pretty frequently.
Yeah. Granola bars are 2 for $4, 2 boxes for $4 at Food Line. So if you want to go buy, you have to scan your MVP card. Food Line will love this because they're sponsoring us. But it is 2 for $4. You scan your MVP card at the beginning and it loads it to your card. It's 2 for $4. Usually boxes are $4 each, right? So they only get 2 for the same price. And those go fast. Those go fast. Also fruit snacks go fast. Anything snacky or fruit, they can just pick and go because they're hungry. And so granola bars are really helpful because they have more nutrition in them, usually, hopefully, so a lot of sugar too, but hopefully. Which I also wanted to mention, I forgot. The reason we want numbers and statistics is that we've applied to be a Second Harvest Food Bank partner. You have to they have rules, and we don't quite fit the rules, but we're trying to bend them. Because the rule is you have to be able to lock your food away so that you can't have access to it when you're not there. So we're trying to say, yes, we do that. We lock the food away that we store or have, and then we put it out for people to take. Yeah, so we're trying to get around the rule. They're trying to get around the rule too, but they're very interested in helping us. What it will become is we can become partners with them, which means we can buy food from them for very cheap. So one of the categories is snacks, and we can buy it for 17 cents a pound. Which would be awesome because now we're ordering it offline or going to Aldi and buying those things there. So we have that money. We still have probably around $5,000-6,000 in our account from the Global Board of Ministries, right? And we're also looking for more, and hopefully we'll win this 10,000. We will win this 10,000.
Yeah, we will.
Because I'm exhausted. They're making me exhausted. We have an event tomorrow.
Yes.
Called Pumpkin Spice Everything Nice. Food drive. It's on your table during lunch. If you'd like to help volunteer at that time, we'd love somebody to come at 11-ish, be there. We're handing out free hot apple cider. If nobody gives a donation, that's fine. It's just we need an event to do, and this is one of our events. We're doing 11 this semester, right? And each event is about 250 points. And if we do all of them, we'll get all those points. And if we do most creative events, we get an extra bonus points. So I think we have a great chance of winning $10,000. Juliet, you had a question?
Well, not really a question, but you mentioned that the beans didn't go, that could be or the canned goods. In talking to some of the students, but they shared with me was, very appreciative, but some of the items because they don't own can openers, they can't utilize, so, you know, and I know. I buy canned goods and I try and get a full out if I can, not all of them have converted. But that's one, I wouldn't say they don't necessarily want them, but if they don't have the means of opening them or cooking them, that's the issue. And to your point about the microwavable things, even, you know, they don't have our cooking facilities, and I know on campus, that's kind of it's hard to get to, you know, the kitchen, barely being one that they can utilize, so microwave things.
Yeah.
That's sort of.
Exactly, and we do try to make sure that their pop tops or open tops, that they're easy to get into. They do go, like, people take them, but they're not very quick. You know, it's not fast. And we're trying to get a microwave as well for a couple of the spaces so that people can put their stuff right there at the pantry, and one upstairs at the student center. Yeah. Yes. And we have some available, reach out and put them out. Yeah.
Maybe an obvious question, but I still think worth asking, right? In general, you don't want perishable items, right? Are there any perishable things people can think about bringing? Or really just stay away from it? Not even apples, nothing.
We had an incident last week. Some of our faculty and staff got free peaches because somebody had dropped off a big box. They were great. They had a food drive. And I just put it in the back, and I was like, oh, Tyler will get it next on Thursday when he's here. And he left it there. Tyler comes in, he's like, what do you want to do with all these peaches? I was like, what? Peaches? I didn't even look in the box. And they were kind of going bad, and they were like, been there for a week. And I was like, oh gosh. So we packed them up, took out the bad ones, and we went around the main campus. You want some peaches? You want some peaches? Just because they were, you know, we didn't want to put them in the pantry and nobody used them, and then they go bad and it becomes a mess. Sorry. One thing that could possibly is like potatoes that you can microwave that are, you know, individually wrapped. That would be fine, because then you can get them and open them up, microwave them fairly quickly. But most perishable things.
But again, generally, yeah, just stay away. Right?
Can you talk to us about the 2 food drives that are coming up?
Yes. We can.
Just to make sure what I had out here.
So another part of this challenge is collecting the most food across, like is also most campuses are trying to get the most, whoever gets the most food, most foods donated to them will get bonus points as well. But the only problem is it's not food collected throughout the semester. It's just the food drives that you see here. It says food line store food drive and the soup bowl food drive. And by the way, the soup bowl food drive, that idea was stolen from us.
They did take it.
Yeah. But those food drives, the goods donated to those food drives will be the only products that are accounted for the challenge. Like, yes, we can collect food all throughout the semester, but in terms of gaining points for the challenge, only those food drives will, only goods collected for those food drives will get points. The food line store food drive, it doesn't have the date here, but right now our plan is to have it on October 28th. And I'm pretty sure this food line store is about 10 minutes away.
It's called the drive.
Yeah, it's not that far either. We're planning to host it around like 9 to 11 a.m. maybe. But it's gonna be on a Saturday. So if you are able to go to that food line during that day, October 28th, and donate some goods to us, that would be much appreciated, because again, those goods will count towards the challenge. And the next one, the soup bowl food drive, we're still figuring out the details for that food drive. But right now, our plan is to either host it with SAC, our student athletic committee, and they're planning to have a challenge with all the sports teams. See if whoever donates the most will get like some reward. It's either that or Dr. Somberg is planning to host like a pottery bowl drive around sometime in November. So that's also something to look out for. We don't have that date set up yet, or even like which event we're actually going to do. But you're gonna hear more information as that comes, but those, yes, those two food drives, the one at Food Lion and the Soup Bowl food drive that we're doing November. Those are the food drives to definitely keep on your calendars.
Tyler, will you have a list at that food line on that day or? Okay.
And just to be clear, right, you were saying it's only food that's donated during the food drive that actually helps for the challenge.
Yes, unfortunately,
And
yes.
whatever you say about raising food, right, it's about winning, we want to win.
But all the food we collect goes to our pantry.
Right, okay, awesome.
So even, that's kind of part of the challenge is that we get food for the pantry.
Yeah.
Right. And we have a list, Tyler has a list that we need.
And so part of the contest also is the social media aspect you mentioned. So for those of us who are Gen X and we're on Facebook and not Instagram.
Just out.
So I should make an Instagram.
It connects to your Facebook, so it's the same
Does
company.
it? Yeah. So it's easier to know how all of that works.
It's like,
I'll fix it out.
it's already a Pandora's box a little bit wide as we publish.
Yeah, and if you're gonna make an Instagram post, your account has to be public and you need to have like 3 hashtags with that post. If you want more information, you can let me know and I'll let you know more about it.
We have great partnerships with the library, with international, with the counseling center, the GCC, the library. They're all posting things we send to them because all of those counts at a point. And they have to use a hashtag and they have to use the at us GC Pride Pantry. So then when they go and look up who's done what post, they can count them then.
Yeah, and for context, we've made about like 120 posts already, and the next closest campus has about like 15 or like 10. So
Okay, but no resting on, no complacency.
Because it has to last. It has to be there for them to count. Stories don't count. Because it has to be there with later. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
And I understand the focus of on hunger and everything, but I did note that somewhere I saw that sanitary items were listed. And then also there was that statistic about like mostly female identifying people using the pantry. And so it made me wonder about period products and if like maybe when this is over, if those appear to be needed, because as you mentioned, like one of the many drawbacks of SNAP doesn't cover period products and they're hella expensive. Having those available in the pantries, but also in the restrooms.
Yeah.
Gender, I guess.
Tyler can tell you about what we do with that.
Yeah, so all of our pantries have pads and tampons.
Even the men's.
Yeah, even the one that.
They're like, why is this here? Like a visitor.
And those are always like kept full stock, I always throw 4 in there every week just to make sure we have. I'd rather have more in there than run out. So we have a good amount of donations of those in the office, but those are always another welcome donation.
We buy boxes in bulk and then we split it up into bags. So you can take a bag, it's labeled
Okay.
what it is, and so you can take a bag.
Donate, like something as small as like the hotel travel when you go there.
Just not opened yet. Here, and donate to the boxes on campus or to Tyler or to me or any of us. Don't donate directly to the pantry. We need to count it. We need to weigh it. When we do that, everything we bring in, we take it to the office, we weigh it, and then we take it back out. It's a pain, but it gives us numbers. And it's a pain for Tyler because he has to take it upstairs. Because there is no elevator.
Yeah, maybe if we win, we can add them.
Any other questions? I do want to say that our food drive is based on our full-time enrollment. So it's not based off of how many cans we get, but it's compared to our enrollment. So we can still win as a small college compared to how much. And we actually kind of have an advantage because if we're smaller, we get more. That's why I think we can win.
We can totally win.
We will.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
exactly.
I am so thankful for these two who are spearheading this initiative and making me exhausted every day at your home. Because they're like, we can do this and we can do this. And we need to, because we have 11 events this semester. So come and support us. The CAF is donating the cider for us tomorrow. So we have a lot of great partners. So come and join us.
It's student government that's putting on the event at the end of the semester.
Yes.
Yeah, doing a prom.
They're promised,
For
yeah.
the kids, and admission is 2 cans of food. So it's really cool that SGA is getting behind this, your endeavor, so.
And we have to do a final kind of celebration. One of our required events is a final celebration. We're gonna probably count that as our final celebration because it sounds fun. And we can have a party. It goes until December 22nd. And then we'll know in the spring if we win.
Very cool.
Thank you so much.
Well, as a quick announcement, so thank you, Reverend Brewer for doing this. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Tyler, for giving us important information. The next Prof Talk is November, and it will feature international programs. So one of the two speakers here, Dr. Jason Myers from Religion will be the other speaker. So look forward to that one. But otherwise, have a great fall break.